Friday morning and hope you're ready for a wonderful and beautiful weekend. Well, this morning on our 9 a.m. Community Spotlight program, we are going to be talking to the director of the Time Out Shelter, Mike Patch, and talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is this month, October, and also yesterday's event, Lanterns on the Lake. So good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Chris. How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for coming in. I know, boy, busy time for you right now. I know you were preparing for Lanterns on the Lake. Had the event last night, so appreciate you coming in just to share about the Time Out Shelter, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and just everything that is going on at the shelter.
What, you mean because I was out at the park at 10:30 last night looking for things that we had lost with a flashlight and my dog?
No, oh, that's never fun.
I'm sure if any officers drove by, they were laughing because, I mean, I made it pretty obvious I was there.
Had the light, a big light, huh?
A big light, I had the car headlights on, I had a headlight on my head, and plus, yeah.
Wow. Well, hopefully, were the items found?
I think they got put in a different vehicle because
Gotcha.
I found lots of items, but I'm not sure
No,
any of them were, actually, funniest thing, there was a kid, as the sun was going down, kid who had lost a little toy.
Oh, okay.
And he was desperate, and he had all of our staff searching the area and everything, couldn't find it. Finally, he went away dejectedly. Guess what I found last night?
That toy?
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I was like, wait, you found a kid? That's not good.
Yeah, hidden in the grass somewhere, you know.
Found the kid's toy. Now, so Lanterns on the Lake, an event that was started, I want to say maybe,
This was our 5th anniversary year.
wow, 5th year. And just a wonderful event was last night. Hopefully a lot of people were able to attend.
It was a fantastic event. It
Nice.
went beautifully last night. The people are wonderful. I don't know how to relay this to Payson, but this is such a unique event for domestic violence awareness. I've been in other communities, other small communities that put on nice events, but domestic violence awareness events are typically somber moments of remembrance.
Yeah, yes.
This is an event where the town comes out. I mean, we had, I don't know, maybe 300 people last night, between 200 and 300.
Wow.
And the town comes out and they embrace us. It's kind of almost a party atmosphere out there. And then when it's time to bring it down and have some real connection, they do a memorial walk that is always, for some people, very, very moving, and for some people, it's just a chance to get out and show support, and we appreciate that. And then the lanterns launch, and everything comes down to just the beauty of the night and what people are either getting rid of by sending it out on the lake or what they're hoping to embrace by shining that light in the darkness. And this is such a unique event. I don't know of anything else like it in the country that has such a mix of feeling and so involves the community. In the past, the events I've been part of were 25, 30 people at most. That's a good turnout. This was 200 to 300.
Wow, that is a great turnout. Again, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So if you see people in the community or more people in the community wearing purple, that is the color.
Yesterday was Wear Purple Day.
Wear Purple Day. Gotcha.
And if we get there are lots of questions around people post on Facebook. We've seen them. And you can think of it as a remembrance for somebody. You can think of it in a number of ways. But it is how we bring attention and help people know it's an issue in the community. 1 in 3 women in this country at some point in their life will have an abusive experience. 1 in 4 men.
Wow.
And I was doing this for years before I realized I had been a victim. I had had someone in my life who was not healthy, and when I threatened to leave, she threatened suicide. And that is an abusive, manipulative act to try and control your behavior. So I mean, I was literally teaching a class in a jail about domestic violence. And I went, wait a minute. Oh my God, that one describes me.
Wow. And also, looking at some different sites or looking online, dating. It looks like, that's kind of been added in some
This
places.
is part of why we partner with our schools in this, and we partner with the community in this, because if you look at domestic violence in 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds, what we often see is there's a pattern of behavior, both on victims and on abusers, going back to childhood. And so we can look at bullying behaviors in the schools and try and deal with those, prevent those, or work to help the people involved in those, because bullying behaviors sets a pattern of behavior for commonly victims and abusers have parallels. And you can find somebody who was a victim younger be an abuser later, and so we're trying to intervene anywhere we can. You deal with bullying. Then as teens, how many teens hide their dating life from their parents? Either from embarrassment, or they're forbidden from dating till they're 16 or whatever. So they are learning to have those social interactions in private, in quiet, away from where it can be seen. And if they didn't have good examples going forward, they started, and that's where you see some of the manipulation and some of the control issues starting that then later lead people to abusive issues. So we're trying to intervene at every level. So we work with the schools, we have education programs, we're out there. The primary thing we do is shelter, but
there's so much more.
There's so much more, and if we can, there's been abuse as long as there's been civilization, and I don't want to minimize that, but we're actively trying to minimize it by dealing with all the pieces.
And I think the one thing is bring light. Bring
Absolutely.
light, because I guess it maybe was the perception or thought that if you don't talk about it. Don't talk about it, because if you talk about it, then it can give people ideas and this and that. But it's actually the opposite, where if it is discussed, if it's put out there, then that light is being shined on the issue, and you see the number of instances and cases decrease when that light is shined.
Absolutely, and that essentially is the whole idea behind the lantern on the lake, is we're putting lights into darkness. Now in that, we want people to bring their own interpretation to it, and if they're sending something out into the whatever, but the basic concept is, hey, let's shine a little light into a very dark subject, into a subject that's not talked about.
Again, if you're just tuning in or just started watching our live stream, talking with Mike Patch, the director of the Time Out Shelter, which serves the Rim Country and also the region. Their website is timeoutshelteraz.org, and as he mentioned, they provide a lot of services to the community, to people that are in the shelter or that need help. You don't have to, I believe, is this correct? You don't have to be in the shelter to receive some of the services.
Well, people hate statistics, so I don't want to bore everybody with them, but I'll give you one quick one.
Yeah.
Last year we served 121 people in shelter. 3,600 bed nights they were in shelter. We served, 204 in the community.
Wow, wow. Okay.
So those are people that either had been in shelter and still needed some support, or people that just contacted us and said, hey, I need support. I'm not in a position to go into shelter. I'm not ready for shelter. I've been to shelter elsewhere, or shelter isn't right for me, but I still need help.
Wow. Yes. Again, one way that you as a community member can help out is the thrift store. There's a Time Out thrift store, which I believe a lot of people in the community are familiar with. It's in the Bashas Plaza, right next to Pizza Factory, and all of the donations that are given to the thrift store, that money is used at the shelter.
100% of the proceeds of the thrift store, of course, first they gotta pay their own bills.
Yes.
But 100% of the proceeds from the thrift store go to support shelter services.
Wow.
And the thrift store is a wonderful opportunity to help in so many ways. The thrift store has more value than just the money it brings in because it is our public face. Because we're a shelter, we have to be private, we have to protect the people who are in there, they have to feel they're safe. So we don't publish that address or put it out there, and there are many people in the community who don't know where it is, and that's a good thing. But we've got this beautiful thrift store that does wonderful business, is just a shining example of, I love our thrift store. I've been, because I have keys, I've been known to go in there and leave notes in the morning that they find saying, Mike bought.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of great items, always getting new items in there.
Every single day. We're open 5 days a week, and 5 days a week there are new things on the floor.
And I don't know if this is happening right now, but the purple boxes, is that something that is?
We have purple boxes in a number of locations around the community, including our thrift store and several others, and those purple boxes are there for donation of paper goods.
Okay.
Among the many things that we go through quickly at shelter and winds up being a real impactful cost is simple paper products. So the next time you go in and you buy a roll of Bounty, buy an extra one and drop it in a purple box.
Gotcha. Yeah, toilet paper, paper towels, Kleenex, but then also, cleaning supplies, so the Lysol wipes, dishwashing soap.
Absolutely.
Window cleaner.
Office supplies. If you can, shall we say, tactically acquire a ream of office paper at work, drop it in the box.
Drop it in the box, there you go.
Not that I'm encouraging anybody to do anything. Take care of your businesses first, please, people.
But that's true, how much paper gets used.
And think about the cost of paper nowadays. A box of paper is 50, 60, 70 bucks, depending on what you're getting. So,
wow. Yep, you have all of those expenses. So it's the thrift store and very generous members in the community, businesses, other organizations that all help with the funding and the operation costs of the Time Out Shelter.
Let me throw another one at you. You can look on our Facebook page, and I will get it up on the website hopefully by the end of the day, and we'll have copies of this flyer at the thrift store. But Chipotle, next Saturday, the 24th or 25th, from 4 to 8 o'clock, if you bring a copy or an electronic version of this flyer of theirs that has a code on it, and they scan it, they'll give 25% of the value of your order to Time Out Shelter.
Wow.
But it has to reach a certain amount. There's some parameters about that. So we want to encourage everybody to go out. So this is actually, we just got this set up this week, so we're trying to hustle and make sure everybody knows. I think I will be eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Chipotle that day.
Yeah, there are so many great businesses, and thank you to Chipotle. I know they've done a lot with the schools as well, and with different organizations. So it is a wonderful community that we live in, so many businesses and people that help out.
Yeah, I cannot say enough good things about this community. About 10 weeks ago, funding right now is in flux everywhere. And especially for nonprofits and the service agency, things are changing. So we're trying to adapt. And that's not saying it's good or bad. There were some changes that need to be made, but it's making things difficult until we all figure it out. And so we had some loss of funding from a few places, and then we had some delay of funding. And I was looking at, we're still a strong business. We still have operations. Things were going, but I couldn't pay payroll. I didn't have the cash flow at the moment. And so we put out an emergency call to the community. And in the last 10 weeks, we raised $200,000 of non-planned funds.
Wow.
The community has been wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that get us out of the hole? No, I look at 2 other spots in our calendar where there's going to be less coming in than going out.
Yes.
So I'm still going to keep pushing. I'm still going to keep asking.
Yes.
We're still looking to the community for that support. But the community made it possible for people to work.
Mm-hmm.
Made it possible for people to get help.
Yeah.
Made it possible to continue support people.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's an opinion or a image of people in shelter that they're just sitting around and doing nothing. They're putting in work too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of the people we have in shelter, several of them already have jobs. Several of them are out there looking for jobs, and they're all working to do things to try and create a stable foundation. Even if they're looking at going elsewhere after shelter, they're trying to get the support, the basic needs met so that they can go elsewhere and be active, productive members of their community.
There we go. So if you just started listening or watching, again, talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month with Mike Patch, the director of the Time Out Shelter here in Payson. And I see the theme for this year's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, with survivors always. The theme, and then looking at the history of it a little bit. Let me see, National Day of Unity celebrated for first Monday in October, call for unity. And that's what you really see in this community. You see people, organizations, businesses unifying, coming together in support of the Time Out Shelter and other organizations, nonprofits in the community.
It's wonderful. I've worked across the country. I grew up in Arizona. I hiked the rim country as a kid. I can tell you bear stories about, you know, a animal encounters about 10 or 15 miles from here. So I've always loved this area, but I went and got my master's degree in North Carolina and have managed nonprofits across the country for over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this community is amazing in that when I put out a call to action, there's no right and left, there's no this is our politics, there isn't our politics, there was support.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said, well, not you, they said, how do we help?
Mm-hmm.
And I look around and we partner with so many other agencies because no one agency is going to have the ability to provide all the help that some people need.
Mm-hmm.
So we partner, whether it's with Southwest Behavioral Health or Banner or whoever we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
And so we invite partner agencies to come out to Lanterns on the Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And we had agencies that are based in Tucson that provide services here. Southwest Law provides services to Gila County, so they were there. We had ACES DV, which is the state DV coalition and represents over 20 agencies around the state.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Humane Society.
Mm-hmm.
Lucy was out there, and you know, and you may say Humane Society. Well, in September 13th of 2023,
Mm-hmm.
if you remember where you're at then,
Mm-hmm.
There was a survey done of every person in a domestic violence shelter on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually do this every year, but that's the newest one I have data for.
Mm-hmm.
On that day, 71% of the people in shelter said they stayed being abused for a longer period in order to try and protect a pet.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Purina and several other organizations that work with animals have domestic violence funds because it is such an overlapping. And an abuser knows where your heart is, and they will use your animal against you.
So the shelter steps up, the Humane Society, and if there is a pet in the house and the person has a pet that they need to leave with, they're not going to leave the pet behind, then the shelter can house that pet temporarily.
We will work with the Humane Society in order to either find them foster or do something.
Yeah.
We don't have one solution. We have a plan in the future to build a new shelter, and that would include our own kennel space, where we could then bring dogs into. We have brought dogs and cats into the shelter before, and it's difficult because some people, others have allergies, others, there's always concerns. So it's on a case-by-case basis. We don't have a general policy. We'd like to get to a place where we have a general policy and the ability to accept them every time.
Yeah, yeah, having the facility that can accommodate pets.
Yeah.
That is important, very important. Yeah.
But in the meantime, it highlights just one way that all of the, I mean, if I were to talk about the diversity of organizations in town that help each other, I'd be listing every agency and about half the businesses in town, because we're all involved in trying to support each other.
Yeah, it is an amazing network, and there's so many connections out there that you don't see in larger communities or even in other small communities.
Yeah.
So it is really great. So how can, we mentioned the thrift store, that people can help with donations, also donating their time if they wanted to help out at the thrift store. There's opportunities there. What are other ways that people can help?
It's funny you mentioned that. Last year, we received 9,874 and a half hours of volunteer support.
Wow.
If you were to translate into dollars, what that's worth, it is an amazing thing. Volunteer hours are usually figured at somewhere around $40 an hour because of a variety of things. But even if you took minimum wage, that's an amazing amount to think about that is just donated of people's generous time. So the thrift store, you can donate by volunteering. You can drop off gently used items to the back, and we'll clean them up, put them out, and then 100% of the profits from that will come in. And the thrift store as a face, as a public entity, is where people go, like, we have more donations dropped off there because we don't have a public face. People want to do something in person, know a person gets it, so they drop into the thrift store, and it comes, you know, by the very next day, it is serving people in shelter.
Well, and I just had to look it up. I wanted to see, but you have 35, the average, like $35 an hour. So over 300, like 300 and almost $50,000 in
value.
In value. That's, oh my goodness. Yeah, there's no way you could have that payroll, even close to that. So, and that's consistent with almost every nonprofit here in the community. So you think about all the nonprofits, everything they're doing, how active they are in the community, working with other nonprofits. Without the volunteers, you're not able to do a lot of that.
There's an assumption that we're in competition with the other thrift stores in town. Couldn't be further from the truth. The thrift stores in town all support each other. Some of us take certain items that others won't. Some of us specialize in putting things in. It seems like the last year we've really leaned into furniture items. We seem to do furniture well. But we all have our own niche, our own place, and whatever. So all the thrift stores are, and the thrift stores bring people up from the valley. People come to Payson to thrift because it's become known for that. So we want to encourage all the thrift stores and work together. But the thrift stores as a group rely so heavily on volunteers. We could not open our doors if it wasn't for the volunteers. And other thrift stores like the one for Humane Society, since we're talking about them, are almost completely staffed by volunteers. So we all couldn't do it without a community that is willing to get out there, roll up their sleeves, and do a little work.
Yeah, that's what it's about, getting involved, getting out there and doing something.
Absolutely.
Doing something, and that's how you help, is by doing. So again, the Timeout Shelter, their website is timeoutshelteraz.org. So if you want to learn more about their services, if you think you might need their services, there are phone numbers, ways to contact the shelter, the people at the shelter, and you can get any assistance that you might need.
Absolutely, absolutely. Last year, we handled 975 phone calls to our crisis line,
Wow.
of which 872 were actually domestic violence. So we're handling crisis calls that come to us because they don't know where else to call. And then we're helping them find where to go to get that support, as well as calls coming to us. And even if someone doesn't come into a shelter, there's going to be time spent with them to help them plan how to be safe in their current situation.
And again, I'm a numbers guy, I love numbers. So you're looking at 81 calls a month. 81 calls a month coming into the shelter. And that's where I think people maybe don't think that some of the organizations, because it's a small town, or a town of 16,000, whatever the population is, and because in their circles, in their lives, they don't see any examples of domestic violence, so it's easier to think, well, there's not much happening out there, not much is going on. But 81 calls a month, that's a lot.
Well, when you start breaking it down into a 30-day month, that's almost
No, 2 a day.
it's two and 2/3.
Yeah, almost 3 a day, yeah.
So, and each one of those calls is not a short thing. It's not, hey, let me get you another place to call. It's let me find out your situation, make sure you're safe right now, and then if you're not safe right now, help get somebody there. If you are safe right now, how do we make you safe for longer? And for most people in crisis, the reason you don't see it in your neighborhood around you is because most people have other resources. Most people will call, or if they call a line like that, it'll be to help them identify the resources. I'm gonna go to mom's house or whatever. We help and take in the people that, where are their last gasps? They've run through the other resources.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it is that time. It is about 9:30. Anything else?
Just want to thank the community for a wonderful night at Lanterns on the Lake, and invite them to look us up on Facebook and get the Chipotle coupon and come out to Chipotle, get yourself some good food next Saturday, the 25th, and that will help us.
There we go. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for joining us this morning, and thank you everyone for listening and watching this morning. We have another program, Banner Payson Medical Center, coming on at 10 a.m., so I hope you can join us to hear from them. And then also football tonight, the Longhorns playing Thatcher, and we'll be traveling down to Thatcher for that game. Well, here you go, back to the music on K-Rim with some Rick Derringer, Santana, and Jackson Brown, and more. But first, an update from the National Weather Service.